Guys, we are live. What is going on? Thank you all for tuning in to this review and results video for Backlash 2018, a show that left a lot to be desired. This show just left me scratching my head. Going into it, my expectations were low, and I knew that going in. I'm like, the show on paper, it's a decent card. The build, though, the problem is when you're coming off the heels of WrestleMania and you have the greatest Royal Rumble last Friday, this show kind of felt like an afterthought going into it. It's like, it's here, but it doesn't feel like a pay-per-view. And that's the problem with having too many events in a 1 month time frame. I feel maybe if you would have just done the greatest Royal Rumble, moved this show back a couple weeks, which you could have, and spread things out better, to at least build up some interest in these storylines, because really, I had no interest in hardly any of these matches. Now, I thought this card had potential to deliver, and really the only match that I enjoyed on this card was the Intercontinental Championship match between Seth Rollins and The Miz, and we will talk about that later in my review. I don't know. This pay-per-view was one of the worst I've seen in quite a while. Probably since Battleground last year. And that show was one of the worst I've ever watched. We did at least have an outstanding match. Like I said, fantastic opener between Seth Rollins and The Miz. Hats off to them. They had what I would say was an instant classic on the show and easily saved the show from being an F. I was thinking about an F, but then I was like, I can't give a show that had a match as good between those two an F. So let's dive right in, because this review probably won't take that long, believe me. So we have Ruby Riott versus Bayley on the pre-show. Did not watch this match, but I'll tell you the results here. Bayley goes for a top rope elbow drop, gets 2 count, and then after a distraction by Liv Morgan, Riott hits the Riott kick on Bayley for the win. So there you go. That was that. Let's talk about the opener. Intercontinental Championship match. Seth Rollins versus The Miz. What more can I say? If you only have to watch one match on this show, watch this match and then turn off the rest of the show, because nothing could follow this match. And I knew watching it, and once the match was over, I'm like, I remember even saying, boy, if the rest of the show is as good as this, we're in for a great night. And that was not the case. These two went out there. They were, battling back and forth. Rollins is really on, fire right now. His babyface character just continues to gain more and more momentum. He's had good match after good match. Him and Balor tore it down the house on Monday night. And then last night, him and Miz went in there. And I knew this was going to be a good match on paper, but it easily exceeded my expectations, whether it was Rollins ramming his knee into the LED ring post. That was a great spot there. It made a great sound. Rollins was really selling that knee. And then Miz, of course, locking in the figure 4. Rollins trying to counter out of it. It was great. He reversed the figure 4. Miz attempted to go for the skull-crushing finale. Rollins kicked out of it. As Rollins went up to the top rope, tried to hit a Falcon Arrow. Miz hits another skull-crushing finale. And he tried to set one off the top rope. And then Seth tried to go for a curb stomp off the second rope. Miz moved out of the way, kicked Rollins in the knee. They go back and forth, trading pin attempts. And then Rollins gets the curb stomp on the Miz to successfully retain his Intercontinental Championship. So kudos to everybody involved who put together this match, and to Seth Rollins and the Miz. Like I said, there was no topping this on this show based on how everything else played out in this show. Yeah, what more can I say? This was easily my pick for the match of the night. And like I said, if you're going to go back and watch anything on Backlash, you can just watch this show or watch this match, and you can shut it off from there. And I even knew, after this match, I'm like, looking back on it, I should have just stopped watching after this match. And I could have went back to watching some Stanley Cup playoff hockey. I missed out on seeing the Las Vegas Golden Knights delete the Sharks of San Jose. Yes, it is wonderful. It is delightful. Yes. And hopefully my Penguins will be able to delete the Capitals of Washington. But that is tonight. Let's get back to Backlash. So from there, we go from an exciting high-paced match to Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax for the Raw Women's Championship. Thought the WrestleMania match was okay. To me, this was slow, plodding, and boring. I didn't think this was a good match at all. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. Crowd really wasn't into it at all. Alexa, was really being ragdolled by Nia Jax throughout a large portion of this match. And then eventually Nia Jax hits the Samoan drop after she catches Alexa Bliss, who attempted to go for a twisted Bliss in midair. So that was a nice spot right there. Nia Jax successfully retains her Raw Women's Championship. And I heard news that Alexa Bliss apparently was injured during this match. That's not good to hear. Apparently, she suffered an injury to her left shoulder, and she's currently awaiting further medical evaluation. Stay with WWE.com for any updates on Alexa's condition. Yeah, Nia won. Afterwards, she cut a very cringeworthy promo talking about, bullying is wrong and bullies get what they have coming to them and blah, blah, blah. And to me, it just felt like a Be a Star ad. And she even said those words, it's for the Be a Star program. I'm just like, oh, God. And then the fans booed because this doesn't sound like Nia Jax. This sounds like, Nia, we're going to have you say something good about the Be a Star program because I hate bullies, except for JBL. But yeah, those bullies, screw them to hell. Thanks, Vince. This was real. To me, I just rolled my eyes. I'm like, really? Okay. Whatever. Next up on this train wreck of a show, because, boy, we were headed right off the cliff, Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton for the United States Championship. I was expecting more. I was expecting something maybe on the levels of their 2008 WWE Championship match at the Royal Rumble. I like going back to watch that match, which was 10 years ago. And 10 years later, Randy Orton just really doesn't seem to give a shit. I mean, I don't know what to say. When he wants to be on his A game, he can still bring it. Like when he hit that drop kick on Jeff to tumble him to the outside, I was like, that's great. But the match to me never really seemed to get going. It was just kind of in first gear. It kind of picked up towards the end. Jeff Hardy hits Twist of Fate. Hits Swanton Bomb. He's still your United States champion. I was expecting a better match. So this was certainly a disappointment for me. Like I said, the match just never seemed to pick up to the level that I thought it would, especially considering who's involved. Like I said, it just seems like Orton, ever since he came back from his injury, I mean, I don't know. I like the stuff with him and the Wyatts. And after that fizzled out, his feud with Jinder was horrendous. He became United States champion. I have not cared about Randy Orton in a long, long time. So, hopefully they turn him heel soon because I don't know what else you can do with him. As a babyface, to me, he's boring. He's Blandy Borton. If you're not going to give a crap, why waste my time? Let's talk about the, I believe the Elias segment was next. Yeah, so we have Elias come out. He says, we're in New Jersey tonight, Newark, New Jersey. He's talking about how he's friends with Bruce Springsteen. He's going to sing a special song. And he says, everybody hold your applause, or else, if you don't stop clapping, I'm going to leave. And then he teases leaving and staying, and the crowd goes, yay, boo, yay, boo. So this, to me, it was over the top and ridiculous, especially when the New Day came out. And they wanted to, rock out, play the trombone. Big E had a big bass drum. Kofi was throwing pancakes. Elias said, no, we're not going to do that. I'm a solo act. And then they start playing the New Day Rocks theme. New Day Rocks. And then Elias says, that's enough. That's enough. JoJo, start over again. And then Aiden English comes out. And then, of course, what is today? Today is, of course, every day is Rusev Day. So there you go. Rusev comes out. He calls Elias a bootleg Bob Dylan. Elias says, no. We got to do this again. Then No Way Jose comes out, and apparently Titus O'Neil, Apollo Crews, and Breeze Dongo are dancing with them. And at this point, I'm like, what the hell am I watching? My God, this is pure chaos. And then Bobby Roode appears, hits the glorious DDT, starts dancing with No Way Jose's conga line. Some people didn't like this. I at first didn't like this. But the more I think about it, it was probably the second best thing on this show, and that really doesn't say a lot. It was wacky. It was zany. It was over the top. But you know what? On a show that really bored me to tears, and I literally almost fell asleep during this show, hell, what the hell? Let's just go with it. Why not? It was fine for what it was, you know. We had Daniel Bryan versus Big Cass, a.k.a. Big Ass. Bryan got the S-Lock locked in, and he easily made Big Cass tap out. I was really surprised to see how fast Cass tapped. I didn't think Bryan would win. And if he did, I certainly didn't think he would make Big Cass tap out. So that was a shocker. Cass looked okay. The match was okay. I mean, Bryan was great. House of Fire, like always. Great seeing him, you know, do his yes kicks, drop kicks, you know, everything that Daniel Bryan does. It's great to watch. Like I said, Cass, he was just okay. We'll see how he does, you know, with this heel run. Like I say, it's too early to tell, especially with one match in. So, yeah. Afterwards, though, he pushed Bryan off the top rope, threw him around on the outside, and hit him with a big running boot. So, obviously, the issue between these two has yet to be resolved. So, we will see where this ends up going. But like I said, I thought the match was decent. But yeah. SmackDown Women's Championship match. Carmella versus Charlotte Flair. I was bored throughout this entire match. I believe I put on the hockey game during this match. I was watching the San Jose Sharks lose to the Las Vegas Golden Knights, who might win the Stanley Cup. We'll see. We'll see. Carmella won. Terrible way to win. She rolled up Charlotte for the win after Flair went for the moonsault. She missed, landed on her feet, and she just rolled her up. I'm like, really? That's it? That's your finish? I don't know. To me, the finish just was not a fan of it. It was just like, that's it? It felt anticlimactic. And this match, like I said, it just dragged. I really have nothing else to say. WWE Championship match. A good match. Marred by another disappointing finish. These guys are going back and forth, you know, and Styles, when he grabbed that chair and tried to strike Nakamura with it, whipped back and hit AJ in the face, busted him open on his cheek. So I hope AJ's all right. So that was nice when Nakamura was attempting to go for the Kinshasa and AJ threw the chair at him. So Styles tried to low blow Nakamura, and Nakamura and AJ low blowed each other at the same time. And they fail to get to their feet as the ref counts to 10 and the ref calls the match. No contest. Once again, we had a count out last match. Now we have a no contest. So I guess this leads to another match. Fans were not a fan of this finish. I wasn't a fan of this finish. I'm like, really? I mean, I see why this match didn't main event because of that finish, but based on the way the main event went down anyway, I'm like, yeah, that was not a good finish, but to me, this still should have main evented. Why would you do it? I guess, I don't know, this pay-per-view, I can't even get excited about talking about it. I'm just like, oh my God, we need, I don't know, it's May. This is how it is with WWE. This is, to me, one of the least interesting months of the whole product. We're out of WrestleMania. We're in that lull. Things will not be picking up till Money in the Bank. So I guess they do another match between these two if they save it for Money in the Bank or do it on TV. I have no idea. But two back-to-back crappy finishes for these two guys. It's just like, Why? Whatever. Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Owens and Zayn bicker. They're arguing. Owens rolls out of the ring. And Zayn wants to leave. Zayn throws Owens back in. Strowman beats him down. Then Owens rolls back and throws Zayn in the ring. Strowman beats him down. They argue. Bicker. Owens gets spinebuster. Hits by Bobby Lashley, followed by a delay vertical suplex. And Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley win. Owens gets power slam afterwards by Strowman. And Zayn gets power slam by Strowman. So it looks like we might be seeing Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn break up. I don't know. To me, I don't want to see them wrestle again for a good while. They have really good matches, but to me, that's been done to death already. I would have split them up on separate shows, have Zayn on SmackDown, Kevin Owens on Raw. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I guess we'll find out tonight on Raw. But there you go. And then we have the main event. Oh, this was great. This was... Of course, we couldn't go off the air at 11. We had to go off the air at 11:30. I was so tired by this point. I was just like, okay. Now, to me, I like the way that this match started with Joe attacking Roman Reigns, laying him out, throwing him Uranagi, hitting Uranagi suplexes through the announce table to the other tables at ringside. And then when the match starts, things go downhill from here. Joe puts Reigns in a sleeper, and they're doing, just going back to the sleeper again, and it's slow, it's plodding, it's boring, the fans are getting restless, they're chanting Rusev Day, they're chanting CM Punk, they're chanting Beat the Traffic because people were walking out. Joe gets in the Coquina clutch, Reigns breaks out of it. And then eventually, as Joe sets Reigns up for the top rope muscle buster, Reigns pushes Joe away and hits the spear for the win because Roman wins, sends the crowd home happy, right? Well, that was disappointing. So Joe loses. Why? To me, he should have won here because he's going to challenge for the WWE Championship on SmackDown, he said. And then you have him lose. To me, that just makes no sense. I felt you could have had Roman lose, maybe eventually have this build towards him losing and losing and losing, and then eventually he snaps. He turns heel. But I guess we're not going to do that. Okay, whatever. My final thoughts on this show, because I'm ready to get the hell out of here, because that's really all I have to say. Watch for Miz and Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental Championship. The rest of the show is skippable. The rest of the show is not worth your time. I felt like I wasted 3.5 hours. I'll say 3 because that first half hour with Miz and Rollins, like I said. But my final grade for this show is a D. Easily, this will probably be the worst pay-per-view of the year. I certainly hope it is, because if it's not, we're certainly in for a rough rest half of the year. So, guys, that does it for my Backlash review. Be sure to check out the rest of my videos here on youtube.com/DanielGuys412 for all my latest thoughts. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at DanielGuys412. Be sure to check out my Facebook page, facebook.com/DanielGuys412. That's actually Daniel Guyza, facebook.com/DanielGuyza1994. The links to those will be down below in the description box. So, guys, that does it. Thank you all for watching this video, and I will catch you guys in my next video, whenever that may be. Take care.